Hi Emilia, I just wanted to go over again what we did in the lesson just to be really sure that you understand how the notes we talked about relate to the strings on your harp. So as we said, this is this here is treble clef sign, and so that means it's going to be high notes basically, so notes above middle C, and that's I can't point because it's sort of going the wrong way, but anyway, the note that I've drawn is middle C, and on your harp it's not the bottom string, but neither is it the one in the middle, which would be helpful, wouldn't it? But it's this one here, so not the bottom red one, but the next red one up, so that's middle C, okay? And then anything that goes up the ladder effectively, that goes up here, is going to be higher than middle C, and that means it's going to be going this way on the harp, so to higher strings, okay? And then if you have a bass clef, it looks like that, the one at the bottom, okay, and that refers to the low strings, okay? So you can also write middle C on the bass clef, and it's going to be like that. So it's going to be at the top of the bass clef ladder, the bass clef stave, whereas on the treble clef, the middle C is the bottom of the treble clef stave. Okay, but that's both of those are two different ways of writing the same note, which would be that one there. Okay. Now, the other thing we were going to look at was the spaces. Sorry, and so that first one there. We'll call it dangling daisy, because you see it dangles off the bottom of the treble clef stave. Okay, it's not kind of a proper space in terms of sort of being like a football stuck in between the rungs of the ladder. It just dangles off the bottom like a little blob of blue tack stuck under your table. Or when I was at school, it used to be chewing gum, which was really quite disgusting. But anyway, so that would be dangling daisy. And so that's a D. And it's the D, one up from middle C. So here's middle C, and it would be this D here. Okay, if you wanted to play any other D, you'd write it somewhere else on the stave. Okay, so that one there, here, dangling daisy, is always going to be this string that is next door to middle C. So one note higher than middle C. Okay, and then, so this is dangling daisy. Let's actually write dangling daisy. Dangling daisy. We'll write middle C for this one. Middle C. Then the next one we're going to look at is this one here. So we've got middle C, dangling daisy, and then the next note along, that's F. Okay, so it's the first sort of proper space in terms of, you can see it's like a football squished between the rungs of the ladder, and that's F. And it's always going to be the same F. If this is middle C here and dangling daisies next door, well, the next note, which is E, is actually going to be a line. So if we were going to write it on, it would be there. That would be the E. But we're not worrying about the lines just at the minute. We're just doing the spaces first. So here is the F. Okay, so it's the black string that's just, you've got middle C, then you've got dangling daisy, you've got one here, and then you've got F. Okay, and that's that F there. If you wanted to play a higher up F, you would write that much higher up on the stave. So at the moment in the book you're going to go through with you know, that's showing you all the different notes. If it's an F, it's always going to be this F. Okay, and then I think we talked about how the next ones spell the word face. So at the beginning we've got middle C, then we've got dangling daisy, and then we've got F, A, C, E. And if we were going to look at where they are on the harp, okay, here's our middle C, here's dangling daisy, and then we get F, A, C, E. So each time I'm sort of jumping by 2 strings. I'm not going to the next door neighbour string, because the next door neighbour string would be a line, okay? So apart from middle C, that's the only line we're looking at here. All the others are spaces. So middle C, dangly daisy, and then F, A, C, E. And if you want to go to the one at the very top, it would be G. And in the same way that dangling daisy sort of, it's like the blue tack under the table, the G at the top is, I guess, like a blob on top of the ladder. So it's not a squished football, it's just the blob on the top. And so how I remember this is I say Daisy's face grins. So Daisy's face grins, and that gives you the spaces, the names of the spaces. And you'll notice that there are only 2 letter names that we've replicated there. So we've got middle C, and then we've got the C an octave above. Okay, but all of the others in the book, when you come across them, if you see a D, you know it's going to be dangling daisy. If you see an F, you know which F it's going to be. Okay, if you see an A, you know which A it's going to be. So I'll just show you again on the harp. Here's middle C. Here's dangling daisy, and then we get, and then from dangling daisy, remember we're skipping a string, so we're going up 2 each time. So dangling daisy, F, A, C, E. And the A's and the E's have actually got a surname. They're A flat and E flat. But in the book, they are all going to be A flats and E flats anyway. So you don't even have to think about that. Just keep all of your levers down. Okay.